Welcome back to the Passiflora Championship VOD replay cast with me, HG3 of Gwent City. Our next match will feature Doduododu versus Dunkoro. Just give me one moment to put the sound on in the game. There we go, that's better. And this is a round of 32 match between these two players. As I understand it, the VOD only includes 2 out of 3 matches, so one round or one match out of the set has already been played, and I think it won in favor of Dunkoro, who is playing a Hensel deck. We have Doduododu, also known as Oliver to Twitch chat. He is rocking a Skellige deck with Crack on Crate.
Olga Blackhand's taking on you,
very interesting because we weren't
say?
sure how much play they'd receive this tournament. And I'm curious to see how he's going to play this one out. Looking at his hand, he has an interesting variety. It's not really a clear-cut Skellige deck in terms of its intentions, as the Brokvar Hunter comes into play, which is my primary indication that it seems to feature more removal than you perhaps expect out of some of the Skellige decks. Not pure Skellige discard for sure, definitely more of a hybrid, but he has a pretty good starting hand. You can also see that there's a Shieldsmith in his hand, which is a little interesting. Dunkoro is coming out very strong. He's going to already turn Akvis gold. 3 turns until that Akvis ticks, and Akvis is a unit that we haven't seen too much play from, but is very heavily favored by some of the players in this tournament in particular. His utility mainly comes from the fact that he will return to your hand, and as the way Promote worked at the time of this tournament, means that he will come to your hand as a gold unit and be replayable in future turns. So that is a pretty big upside. Dealing the 1 damage is good and helpful, but it doesn't really make a world of difference. As we can see, both players opt to try and play around Bork here, resulting in Dunkoro taking Donarnhindar to hand, and Doduododu ends up taking back his Brokvar Archer, which is Brokvar Hunter, excuse me, which is a fine play, but now he has no targets for that unit. So he's just going to have to play into 2 Queensguards popping out, taking a bit extra damage from playing an extra unit there, but he had no real option. Investing in the Shieldsmith into Donarnhindar would be a rather poor choice, as the opportunities to res Donarnhindar are only going to bring him to your opponent's side of the field. With Decoy already being played, you'd be giving your opponent strength. Here comes a Reaver Hunter out from Dunkoro. Going to be able to thin his deck. Akvis has already returned to his hand, so you can see card advantage 8 to 7.
No time to whimper.
Aided from the fact that he was able to replay that Donarnhindar. Card advantage against Skellige is very important.
Words.
Igni comes out and clears out 2 Reaver Hunters. Straight to the grave. A Roach comes back into play. And a Roach will immediately be met by a Swallow Potion. So Dunkoro is taking the fact that Igni has already been played as an opportunity to buff up Roach. This is definitely what you'd expect to see out of a Hensel deck, and he has another Swallow Potion in hand. We see the Alistair's Thunder to try and keep him in check, but a 3rd Swallow Potion in hand. Dunkoro sitting on all of the buffs to make sure no matter what he will get his Roach online at value, and all this effort Doduododu is put into trying to temper the Roach ends up still locking him in at 12 strength. So perhaps not exactly what he would expect out of it, but now with 3 Swallow Potions played, we know one of the cards in Dunkoro's hand is the Akvis, which he will not want to replay at this stage of the round. 2 remaining cards are question marks. Doduododu is contemplating a pass here. He's only up by 9 strength. 9 strength against Northern Realms is anything but a guarantee for a win. And he's going to drop down the Thunderbolt Potion, which should lock it up. 38 to 21, unless Dunkoro wants to run another gold card. Perhaps an Igni of his own would take 9 off the board, put 8 on. All it would do is draw the round right now for Dunkoro, so I don't think he would use Igni. He has his Roach locked up at 12. He has to be pretty happy with that, considering how many cards he's gotten out of Doduododu. He might just take his card advantage and move on to the next round now. Moving on to the next round will also make Akvis more playable. So we know that he only has 2 playable cards out of his hand right now, since he wants to be able to keep his Akvis for the entirety of the match. Doduododu would be really hard pressed to try and use this res out of hand if Dunkoro was continuing play, but it looks like he will go with the pass option. And we will go to round 2. So Skellige player takes round 1, which is of the utmost importance for Skellige typically. As we see, nice top deck, pulling Burnabrand off the top.
Before the Queen,
No hesitation,
Skellige.
slam her down on the other side of the field. Interesting choice there. Ceres has to be the option.
The moment. I need to
Last
smoke.
Wish was one of the options as well, but he really has nothing to discard. He'd have to just drop both cards he picks up down into the grave. And we've already seen some Brokvar Hunters, which
Bow
probably
before
came
modern
into the deck
Freya.
at the cost of something like
You're good.
an Ancrate
Real
Raider.
good.
The Freya res will pull the Queen Guard out of the grave, and nice Scourge protection, or even Igni protection from that one Shieldsmith coming to play and altering the strength of a single Queen's Guard.
Uh-oh.
So
Trouble
that
approaches.
6 strength Queen's Guard will be a blocker. And it looks like the pass will come out from Doduododu after the Kedweni siege support makes its way and buffs Olgierd. No promote to follow.
Death holds no surprises.
And we've already known that all the swallow potions have been used by Dunkoro, so it wasn't too much of a threat of creating a super Olgierd at that point in the match. Akvis will
I'm
resummon
ready.
Roach. So 22 strength from one play. Not bad at all.
Don't recognize your old mates.
The duo checking out his grave. We do see 13 strength gold Ceres coming onto the battlefield. Formidable for sure. There's a
We
Reaver
serve
Hunter
her
play
who is virgin,
with at
mother,
least
and
one
throne.
Reaver Hunter in the grave, I believe. So maybe he could pull out one of his compatriots, but not too much to choose from. Scourge will come out. Ooh, and there's the value from the Shieldsmith. Only hitting one of the Queen's Guard. Now, Restoration. He asks for Restoration here because if he used Crack on Crate's ability, he put his whole front row on 5s, which is just begging to be ignied. I'm not sure how many gold cards we've seen from Dunkoro yet.
Bow before
No,
modern
we've seen
Freya.
Orc, but I think Igni is probably still looming. And good play to use Restoration first and not to use the Ancrate ability. 7 is going to continue to be the blocker for any removal. And 42 to 28, only one card left for Dunkoro. It looks like Oliva's going to take the game. Okay, so that was game 2. So now it is 2-2 in this series, and we'll be going to game 3. Just let me find my way there really quickly. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.